Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon if you're on the Eastern Standard Time. My name is Carlie. Thank you for being on my channel, Consciousness with Carlie. Today we are going to have Elia Bean on with us, and she is such a light, such a beautiful divine feminine energy. We're going to bring her on and allow her to express her energy and what she does. And from there, I would really like us to go into the divine feminine rising energy. This will be relevant for men and women because we are rising the feminine energy as we move into this new age. So here she is. Let's get her on here. Hi, everyone. Hello.
Hi, Carlie. How are you?
I'm so good. Thank you for doing this with
Yes,
me.
of course. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. I think the energies right now are supporting a lot of people, but it takes clashing energy to get there, right? There's got to be that 0 point energy. So I think we all have to go through that process in order to get more into a flow state again, and then we'll evolve again, going up the spiral. And so I just think it's important for everybody to stay connected and recognize that this is a process. And even when we're doing good, it's a process to get there, you know? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Honestly, this past couple of days probably has been just a lot of things going on in just a week. You know, it seems like time is just speeding up so fast, just
Yeah.
going so quick. Things are just moving, you know, kind of like passing through like really fast. That's how it feels.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
didn't sleep last night, to be honest. The 2 nights before, I slept so good for like 4 hours straight, and that's probably the best that I have slept in a while. And then last night, I don't know, I probably slept for like 3 hours. But I woke up and I feeling like super like energetic. I already went to the beach. I went,
Wow.
walking to the beach with a friend, my baby,
Oh.
came back, and yeah, it's 11:11 right now here. So
I love that.
I love it. I
Well,
love it.
Elia, why don't you explain what it is you do? I know what you do, but do you want to just explain what you do and how you help everyone? And yeah, you're just a light. So just go into what it is that you do first.
Sure. So I'm a hypnotherapist. I majored in marriage and family studies, and then I went through thanatology, spiritual intelligence, mindfulness, neuro-linguistic programming, and then different techniques with hypnotherapy, regression therapy. And so right now there's another technique that I use in there for cellular command cell therapy, and so I use hypnotherapy with that, and it's just kind of like a whole mix of different things that I use, and energetic NLP too. Kind of use that in my sessions, and so I just kind of help clients right now. That's what I'm saying. It's been crazy because I took almost like a full year off when I had my baby, and I needed that time to also recuperate, kind of like recover from the pregnancy, recover from just a lot of things that I needed to work. And so, anyways, I worked through it. And so right now, a lot of my patients are actually doctors, physicians. And so I kind of specializing more into stress management. So I help them to, relieve their stress. So like we've seen a lot of patients that are experiencing like body pain, and it's just stress. That's just the stress of like everything that is going on right now, because the body is also stressing because of the changes that we're going through right now. It's just like so much energy going through our bodies that is, and if we have some type of like blockage because of past trauma, childhood trauma, then we need to work through those experiences so that we can release the energy of those experiences. And then that would really help our bodies to distress and just kind of be at balance and harmony.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Have you found that when you take people under hypnosis and you go take them back, like, do you take them back to that traumatic area so that way they can become aware of it, or are they already aware of it? What are you doing with them when they're already aware of it in order to alchemize that?
So most of the people think that they are aware of it, but then they go back to a specific time with regression therapy. So I regress them to the specific moment when it happened. And so then they go back to maybe when they were 2 years old, 3 years old, 5 years old. It really just depends on the person, right? And everybody is different, and everybody has gone through different things. And so once they're able to see what happened, then they're able to release that energy, and they're able to also release that inner child, heal that inner child. It's almost like you have a chance to go back in time. Literally, that's what it is. That's how I see it now. It's like a time machine. You're able to go back in time, see yourself as Carlie when she was 5 years old, and what happened to Carlie, and what did she needed in that moment. You know, maybe she needed a hug. Maybe she needed somebody to tell her, it's going to be okay, Carlie. It's going to be okay, right? And so, but we didn't have that. So in that moment, my patients are able to see their inner child face to face, and they're able to, you know, embrace that child and let that child know that they're safe, that they're protected, that, you know, everything is going to be okay. And then we merge the child, and it's such a beautiful thing to witness when their patient is merging their child back into themselves, but it's merging back feeling comfortable, feeling safe, feeling love, feeling beautiful, you know, everything that they needed in that moment from that specific experience, that they get to reparent that child themselves. And so that's what inner child work really is we get to reparent that inner child, and we get to go back in time to see, to witness what happened to that child and what can we do with it. Because most of the times when we're dealing with fear, with anger, right, is that inner child. Maybe it's not necessarily the inner child, maybe it's the teenager, right, that is mad, upset, angry, she's tired, right, and she wants justice, and right. And so we have to kind of like just, okay, what is this trying to teach me? What does my inner child need right now? You know, like, so you get to talk to your inner child. And so that's kind of what I help with my clients, is that they they create more self-awareness, so that when something triggers them, they understand that, okay, wait, it's a trigger, so there is something rooted there with trauma, because that's what trigger is. The trigger is just showing you that there is still trauma in there, and that's why you're reacting, right? So when we start catching that, it's like, oh wait, why am I reacting about this, right? So that we have already created self-awareness in that moment. And so we're like, okay, I'm aware that this is affecting me. I'm aware that this is making me feel uncomfortable. Maybe it's making me feel angry. Maybe it's making me feel sad. But why? You know, why? What is that inner child need right now? Okay, maybe she just needs a hug. Maybe she just needs to look at herself in the mirror and tell herself that she's beautiful, that she's brave, that she has this, that everything is gonna be okay. And so we just kind of have to like keep remind ourselves, because we have been programmed for so many years, you know, for so long, especially an adult, right? Our children have the, you know, we can work with them, and it's a little bit faster because they haven't gone through so much trauma, or they haven't really created that become maladapted to it, because everybody is going to experience pain no matter what. Pain is pain. It doesn't matter how you experience it, it's going to be painful, right? Any experience that is uncomfortable and it makes you, it, you know, hurts your feelings or or hurts you physically, it's pain. And so, so when we are able to recognize those things, then we are able to get through it. Like even animals in the wild, you know, I love zebras. I even have a whole wall with like zebra stuff. And the reason why I love zebras is because in the wild, zebras go when they are being hunted by a predator. Let's say a lion is, you know, trying to hunt them, and they're running and they get to get away from this predator. Before they get back to their what's it called, a herd, right? What they're the other zebras, right? Before they get back to the other zebras, they go into the wild by themselves and they start jumping and they start releasing because they want to release that energy, right?
Wow.
Isn't it so amazing
Yeah.
how nature is teaching us how we are supposed to release that energy? Why? Because we are in that moment, our nervous system has gone into the fight or flight mode. And so all this cortisol has been, you know, shooting, you know, adrenaline is just like all the way up, right? And so your body is just full of it. And usually we don't take the time to just take a deep breath and release that, or just kind of move our body, right? Move our body and just release that energy. Go for a walk and release that energy before we come into our homes, into our sanctuaries with our, you know, our children, our spouses, or whatever, you know, and we bring in that energy with us before we release it. And so animals do that. They go in the wild and they release that energy before they get back to their people, before they get back to the other, you know, friends, animals, family. And so that is so beautiful to see. And I love animals because I just love them, you know, my whole life. I wanted to be a veterinarian and I love animals. So I have this like very strong connection towards, you know, animals. And so I always been fascinated about their, you know, behavior and how wait, somebody is writing over here. Childhood trauma lost, I was 12. Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah, that's a friend of mine. We're friends now. His name's Rob. And I didn't know that, Rob. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm actually very grateful that you're on here because everything that Elia is explaining to us is that nervous system reset,
Yes.
right? It's that deep trauma. I mean, it gives me chills. Like just talking to you gives me chills. Rob saying what he said, like it's just very like tears me up, you know? And I'm really grateful we're having this discussion because I have so many questions for you, for everyone, about why they should do this. A question I have for you is, we have multiple layers of trauma through different times
Yeah.
in our life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you find, I got chills again. Do you find that you have to go way, way back first with people, bring awareness to that, and then continue doing many sessions with them to bring them back to different stages of trauma that need to be, you know, seen?
So everyone is different. Everyone is different, you know. And even Dolores Cannon, she used to say, you know, some people are not gonna, and they, you know, they say sometimes it's not necessary for people to go back and see it and experience and relieve that trauma because it wouldn't be beneficial for them. They're not ready to see it. They are not ready to confront it yet. But what I've seen in some of my clients is that they're still able to release the energy of the emotions. So even though they might not be able to go back in time and see it, right, like visually see it, because it's not necessary, and it will make more, it will be more damaging for them to see it, right? So, but they still have those emotions. They can still feel it. You know, I seen clients where they're like, you know what, I can only see this like this violet light, but I'm feeling a lot of fear, and they start crying. In that moment, they start crying. I'm like, and so I asked them, okay, where do you feel this pain in your body? And they, they go here in the stomach, in the chest, and so we work through those emotions during those sessions. We do a lot of breath work during my sessions too, to release those energies too. But yeah, some people go back to it and they're ready to see it, and they've been asking for it, and they're able to see it and to confront it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, and my other question would be with that, with severe chronic pain. For instance, like one of my best friends, she's aware of the trauma, sacral chakra trauma from a young age, all the way up in many multiple different layers. She's aware of it all. She's gone back through with the Ho'oponopono meditation, however you say that. Sorry if I
Yeah.
butchered that, but she's done that many times to go back and be that for her. But she has the most like craziest sacral chakra issues, massive, massive cysts that rupture, nearly kill her, internal bleeding, and she's really struggling with that. And it's all the time. And I'm just wondering do you notice when people go back, how many sessions it takes, or where do they find the relief in chronic pain after they've had these sessions with you?
So I normally have a client for 4 sessions. Some people might need a couple more sessions, but for the most part, 4 sessions has worked perfectly for patients with like chronic depression. Have been 4 sessions. And this is, I mean, talking to someone who like chronic depression, right? And so they had a lot of not just the depression itself, but depression hurts. And so they couldn't sleep, they couldn't, they had back pain, they had all this like pain. And I'm talking to about someone who was like probably 39 at the time. And he had been diagnosed with, or he created depression since he was 14 years old. And again, all these things, um, they're not bad. They're not good or bad. Everything serves a purpose. Even in this case, for example, depression served the purpose to protect him. So during that time, he needed that protection. So he created depression to have that protection. But what I mean is that when you have lived for so long with that depression, where nobody is teaching you, like, okay, it's time to let it go, right? So then you form this maladapted experience with this
Right.
depression, where it came to show you something, it came to protect you from something. And so, but now you're like still holding on to
Right.
it, because nobody teaches us how to let go. Nobody teaches us how to release energy, how to release these emotions. That's not something that is taught at school or anywhere, really. And so when we don't do that, then we start growing up with that. And but even, even clients that have like chronic depression like that, or some kind of chronic pain, they're able to release it in probably 4 sessions, really. And from the very first session, they'll go back to see the root cause of it. Yes.
Do you offer sessions for people over like online? Like how would you do that? Okay.
Yes, yes. So most of my sessions are online. I do sessions in person, but I only do it in San Diego and in Mexico. But other than that, the majority of my sessions are online
Okay.
through Zoom. And
That's
it works just fine. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm really appreciative that we're having this conversation. It feels like so in flow with everything with my own clients and what they're going through. And I've been saying this for a while, guided to work with people with that chronic pain in their body, and that it's a compass. It's trying to show you where the energy is stuck and that it's not serving you anymore.
Yeah.
I think that's really difficult for people to truly wrap their minds around when they're not as open to the idea that it's self-created,
Mhm.
and that they're a victim to it, and it's chronic because of that. And so do you find that the people that come to you for these sessions, does it matter how open they are, or do you feel like it opens them up?
It really opens them up. You know, obviously they're open to try it,
Mm-hmm.
And most of they're open to try it because they have tried a lot of things and they're in pain. And like I said, pain is pain. It's painful, and nobody wants to be, holding on to that pain. It gets to the point where like I cannot live with this pain anymore. And so what I seen is because I'm working with the subconscious mind. Once, and this is what Dolores Cannon used to say too, is like once we remove the conscious part of it, which is the part that gets in the way, then we can work with the subconscious. And when we work with the subconscious is so aware that this needs to be done, that you need to go back, that you need to fix this, that you need to release it, that you need to let it go. And it's almost like you have this aha moment in there and you understand it. That's the thing, is that you understand it. Because a lot of us, we know, okay, we know that something happened to you maybe when you were like 7 years old, right? Something happened. You are aware of it. You're consciously aware that something happened to you, but subconsciously, that pain, that trauma, all those triggers that kind of are being shown, the pain in the body, whatever it is at a subconscious level. And so even though consciously you are trying to do all these different things to fix it, none of it sometimes works, because at the subconscious level you haven't really let go and you haven't really understand why it happened. Once you understand why it happened, or why it happened for you, then it's easier to let it go. It's so much easier to let go when you understand. Like even as a child, right? When you're a child, you're like, and somebody tells you, no, don't do this. You don't understand why they're saying no, so you're just gonna keep doing it until you understand, okay, I can't touch this because if I touch it, I'm gonna get burned. So until you form that conscious of like, if I touch this, I'm gonna get burned, then you stop doing it because you already understand why you're not supposed to do it. But before you understand why, you're just going to keep on either relieving that, attracting the same kind of toxic relationships, attracting the same things, cycle, going into the same cycle over and over again, because you haven't understand it yet at the subconscious level.
Yeah. Absolutely. I've been working with my own clients a lot with that. I mean, everything is, everything I feel like that we do, it's all
Yeah.
subconscious because it's got to start from back there. And it's actually so relieving being able to work in that way, because I can tell people it doesn't matter if you're able to pay attention while you're meditating. Just let it start programming that subconscious, so that way every day you feel a little lighter. You have a little more understanding.
Mm-hmm.
You can see a different angle, a different dimensional perspective,
Yes.
and working with that subconscious. And I love what you do, and taking them back and doing it in that way, and having so many different levels and layers to that. I mean, even recent traumas, like we accumulate traumas constantly. I mean,
Yeah.
I can imagine having a baby, would put your body in a traumatic state. Like there's so many different
Yeah.
things that are simultaneously beautiful and simultaneously traumatic at the same time that we have to constantly clear.
Right.
Like there's no reason for somebody to not come to you whether they have deep trauma or not, because your nervous system is always in this fight or flight that it needs to be aware of and shaken off,
Mhm.
so you can get
Yeah.
present again.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's like once you get into that present moment and you just kind of release that the anxiety of like thinking what's gonna, the fear of the future, or the, being concerned of what's gonna happen in the future, and also letting go of just that pain from the past, it's just such a relief that it just puts you at so much peace with yourself. It's like, okay, like nothing that anybody does is going to uh, affect you, because you are at peace with yourself. It's like, I don't, okay, yeah, sure. Like you don't fight with anybody anymore. It's like somebody says, oh, well, no, 3 plus 2 is 6. You're like, okay, sure.
That's
Yeah,
your
it is.
reality.
Yeah, exactly.
You can
Exactly.
have it.
You kind of you become like that. Like you're just able to understand that their reality is not the same as yours, and that's okay. You know, you can still love them from a distance, but you kind of move yourself in a different reality in a different way,
Yep.
because what works for you might not work for somebody else.
Absolutely.
And that's, you know, but yeah, but when it comes to like past life regression, I've done so much, so many past life regressions for myself too, and got to past life regressions, even with past life like karmic relationships that I had. Like why did, you know, what do I need to work? Yeah, that kind of became I'm a scientist, and I experiment everything on myself. And so every time I would go through like a really hard relationship, I'll be like, hey, why do I need to work? You know, and so in my session was purposely about working what is going on with this person. And I mean, I had so many amazing sessions. Like one of them was going back to the I think it was like the 1800s, and I used to live in France, and I had this person that I was dating at the time, who lied to me, and he turned out he was married. And when I found that he was married, I just said, I just can't, you know, I can't date you. I really like you, but I can't date you because I can't do this to this sister. I don't know your wife, but your wife is a woman, so she is a sister, and so spiritually we are sisters. I can't do that to her. And so, so I let that go, but I needed to understand what was my relationship with him in the past. Why was he coming back into this present time? What did I needed to see that, you know, needed to work with him? What was the karmic relationship there, right? And so, so anyways, I went back into it, and I found that he used to be my husband, and he cheated on me, and it was just like a movie.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. But when I understood, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense now. Okay, fine. I can let it go. I can release that, you know. That is not, it's not my karma, you know. That's something he needs to work on, whatever. So I kind of released that and really cut those cords with those that with that person, you know, and anybody else that I've been kind of encountered in, you know, lately too. It's just like, what do I need to work? You know, what's my karma with this person? You know, what kind of like, you know, relationship we had in the past. And a lot of my clients, we had something to do, you know, we were friends in the past. They helped me during the times of Atlantis, and now it's my turn to help them. And so it's just been such a beautiful experience to be able to have with those clients that are really open to experiment and to see what happened to them in their past life. You know, I don't necessarily offer like past life regression to people. I just, you know, I'm a regression therapist. But there's clients that they're asked for it, you know, because they're ready. You know, they really want to face what happened in their past life. You know, they're like, you know what, I've been really curious about what happened in the past. You know?
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a client where they came to, you know, heal some trauma in the past and it turned out to be a past life regression session?
Yes, yes, yeah. It's been like that for since the beginning,
Yeah.
And one of my first clients, he wanted to understand why he was feeling depressed. And we did the regression therapy, and in that moment, he went back to a lifetime where it wasn't even his lifetime; it was his mother. So he was healing his mother's womb, literally, and the grandma too, in that session.
Wow.
And to me, that this was like, you know, like I said, I'm a scientist, and to me, it was all like scientific until that moment. And in that moment, I was going to stop. I was so close to stop that session because I was like, I don't know what's going on here. Like, no, nobody trained me for this past life regression. What is it? I didn't even know what past life regression was at the time.
Wow.
And so I was like, what? So I was gonna stop, and then in that moment, they just came through and they started, telepathically communicating. And they're like, no, you can't stop. And I was like, who's there? But okay. But I'm like, I'm gonna
Wow.
listen, right? So they're like, no, you can't stop. You have to keep going. You have to just keep going. So it was almost like somebody was just telling me, just suck it up and just keep going.
Yeah.
This has to be done now, today, right? And
Mhm.
so we got through it and we finished. It was almost like the first. So I usually take my clients into 3 or 4 scenes. The first scene was about him, and then the second, the third one, and the fourth one were all about his, past life, his mom, the relationship between him and his mom and the grandma. And so he kind of like really put it all together, and he understood exactly why he was feeling the way he was feeling at the present moment because of all of this relationships, that his mom and his, the mom of his mom, his grandma went through, that really it was passed on, to him.
Wow.
And we understand, epigenetics, that you are in your mother's womb when your mother is 4 months old in her mother's womb.
Mm.
You're already there, like your little, your DNA, like the
Right.
cell, everything is
I
here.
mean, that makes so much sense though, because I work with like higher realm angelic frequencies, and when I do speak to like past family members and the way that they express time, and just like how the time here really is just this squozen little, like it's just gravity that pulls us all the way down, right? And so time, when it exists, we're already planning on being in a specific lifetime way ahead of time through generation in order to clear certain things. And so it's like kind of like we're claiming our spot
Yeah,
way ahead of time.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what it is, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, we basically working with, higher conscious beings, light beings, angels, whatever you want to call it, they don't mind. They don't mind being called whatever, they're like, oh yeah, that's cute too. Yeah, it's like, like I'm an angel, sure, I'm an angel, It's like I'll
Yeah.
be your angel.
It's
So
however we want to label the frequency. And
yeah,
that's like something that I posted recently, but I had understood on an experiential level, right? And I was going to bring this up earlier, just how, like you said, burn your hand on the stove. It's the experience itself that teaches us, and that's why we have to dive right into the experience.
yeah,
And so many people, like with Rob and talking about the traumatic loss of his sister, it's this is what I've been helping people understand as well on a higher perspective level, that we chose to dive directly into the lowest frequency of this realm
yeah.
so we could understand the depths of hell.
Mm-hmm.
And then by Newton's law, or whatever you would like to call that universal law through
Right,
physics, it will
right.
swing to the other side, which would be the heights of heaven.
Yes.
But in order for us to experience that, we have to go to those depths so we can experience the heights. But
Mm-hmm.
if you can't bring both right here, right now, which is what I work with my clients on, what do they matter? What does the depths of hell matter if you cannot pull from that, right? And bring it right here, right now into your present moment and lead others that are in that pain and show them that they can make it out because you're still standing here right now,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's that
Yeah,
experience
yeah.
part to it. And you
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about the past life regression, and it's all the same thing. It's that experience.
Yes.
And this generational curse clearing that we're doing makes so much sense when you talk about this, him going back and clearing things that are his mom's and grandma's and
Yeah.
all of that, because it has to be cleared, and
Yeah.
someone has to choose to do that.
And they had already passed, you know, they, both of them, they had already passed. So it's not like they were, you know, here physically anymore. And so, and he still needed to clear that, you know, because he needed to detach from that trauma. And that's the thing, is that we need to just detach from the trauma, the trauma and the drama, really. You know, that we just don't want it anymore. That it did serve a purpose at one point, but we don't need it. You know, it's not needed. Where we going is not needed. So we really need to just like drop it, let it go, stop doing it. You know, whatever it is, like work. You know, work with a therapist, work with you know, whatever it feels comfortable and right for you. You know, just work through that pain. You know, because more, like you say, you know, most people don't want to confront the pain. Most people are too afraid of confronting that pain because it's going to be painful. It is, you know, the healing process is not a love and light process, you know, as more, I'm just a love and light. It's like, no, it's so painful. It's really painful. You have to really go through the darkness of everything, you know, of your own self, and even the environment where you are in. And there's just so many things, so many factors that I've been encountering with some of my clients too, that are really you know, extraterrestrials. They're not human, you know, we're not human. And so, but we were put in different parts of the world as to anchor that energy, because it's almost like we're this like channel, right, where all this energy is coming through, and we're able to just kind of like, you know, like an antenna. We're like an antenna, and so we're like sending those, you know, that energy to those places, to the people around that place. And so we're, you know, in different places for that reason too.
Absolutely. And as you're talking about that, Tyler just asked a really good question I'd love for you to touch on. He said, how is the attitude toward regression slash hypnosis slash energy healing in Mexico versus what you see in the United States? Is there a difference because of culture on how open people are to the past life regression or the energy? What have you experienced, you know, being in
Um,
both?
you know, I think it's that was a little hard at the beginning, to be honest, because hypnosis has such a like bad name, thanks to religion, that it just, people think that it's just something like I don't know, like spiritual, and you're doing this woo woo, and I don't know, right? But it's not. It is a spiritual experience, but it's mostly, you know, I would say it's science,
Sure.
and it's something that I call divine science, and that's how it works. But I see people here in Mexico are pretty open to try it. Um, Same thing with people in America. I think most of my clients are like high performance people, so like they're like doctors, professionals, because they see the value of it. They have tried before, and they know it works, and they know it's something that it's a type of therapy that is going to work fast, and they're going to get them to the next level faster, because they're gonna be letting go of either, it's almost like you're taking out the trash, boom, let it go, and then you moving forward to the next level, the next grade, right? Like this is school earth. So we move into the next level because we work things so fast. So that's what I seen, that most of my clients are like, you know, professionals, because they kind of know. And I'm not saying that people that are so the US isn't the place for us. But yeah, I would say that most of my clients, so I have, you know, I would say it's between San Diego, New York area, Florida. For whatever reason, I have a very strong connection with those points. Here, Mexico, where I am right now, and the UK, um, and
Yeah.
Australia.
Yep.
Those are some of the points where I have seen of where most of my clients come from.
Same. Same.
Yeah,
Isn't that wild? There, Australia, yes.
yeah.
Florida
Mm-hmm.
has been huge. I'm from Utah, southern Utah.
Yeah.
And my friend Ireland Clark, I remember when she moved to Florida, and then she left, and then we came to Florida, and Tyler's in Florida, and so it's interesting these points. And I know Florida is, from what we know and what we've brought on, it is a piece of land from the Atlantis and
Yeah.
Lemurian times. So there are structures, and I believe that there are crystal structures because crystals hold information. So where I'm from in southern Utah, I have tons of soul families, tons. It's clusters of them. And what I channeled was this massive selenite grid through the Grand Canyon, which we know has selenite caves, but it goes all the way up through Zion, which is where I live, up through Bryce Canyon, and it's this massive grid of selenite, which just is a mirror, which I tell people is a mirror of crystal clarity, which means information.
Mm-hmm.
So we are being placed in places that can help us download more information, and that's how I see it. So when you named off those places, I was like, yeah, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
it.
Exactly. Oh yes, yeah, yeah, Sarah. So that's how I met Sarah too. I actually met Sarah because I read her book, and then I contacted her. Then we had an interview just like this, a live interview, and then I read her next book, and we had another interview, and so we just kind of became, pretty good friends like that. And yeah, yeah, yeah. It's been such an amazing experience just being able to use Instagram to connect to all those souls,
Yeah.
to connect to like sisters, like
Mm.
I mean, Kristen, she's here in the live right now, and that's how I connected with her. So it's just been such an amazing experience being able to use this platform to connect with the people that you're supposed to connect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is absolutely designed
Hmm.
for this time. We created this design for this
Yeah.
time, and it gives me chills. And that's where that perspective shift is. You can be on social media, and it's okay to be aware of what's going on in the world. I get it. But to be hyper focused on it, you can be hyper focused on one energy, or you could be hyper focused on the solution energy.
Hmm.
And that's where we all come in and we go, what's the solution, guys? Like, we're working for the light here. What do we do? And we just always bring each other right back to present with a new perspective. Like, we all have a different perspective, and it's all pulled in on these platforms so we can see ourselves at multiple angles. Like, we're one diamond that has multiple
Yeah.
angles, and we get to experience all these different aspects of ourselves because of this. And so it can be a dark time if you want it to be, or it can be the most enlightened time that you
Yeah.
could ever imagine.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Because we have that, right? We have both.
Hmm.
We have that duality, and I think until we accept that we have that shadow, that we have that darkness within ourselves too, but we can use that and transmute it and to help us do the things that we need to do, like fulfill basically our mission in this life. When we use that, what we call dark side, for our purpose, it's really turned into this light, and it's just such a beautiful thing to do too. And it's beautiful to embrace it. It's like, yeah, I'm not love and light.
Right.
And I tell my friends this, I'm not all love and light. I have my dark side
Yeah.
too, and I love
Yeah.
it, and I love it. I'm okay with it. And so until we really sit with it and accept it, it's going to be become a problem, or we're going to call it a problem, an issue, something that's wrong with us.
Right.
But so until we accept it, then we're going to realize that even that what we used to think that is something bad, dark side or the shadow, whatever, that we are able to just embrace that,
Yep.
and accept
Yeah,
it.
what I found with that, and from personal experience, which I know many others have as well, is that we spend the majority of our life accumulating trauma in the first half because nobody around us has been conscious enough to bring us a different perspective other than addiction to distraction, and whatever that is, then that's what we do. And so we are completely submerged in addiction to distraction, usually come to a 0 point that it pulls you out and goes, whoa, you're gonna die
Mm-hmm.
if you don't stop. And then you get a new perspective. People will shift, go way into the light, do their spiritual stuff, and then find, like even myself, then find that even the divine is a distraction
Yes.
if you cannot bring it right here. And
Right.
that I feel like is the awakening that's happening to so many people. We woke up to the
Yeah.
hell, pulled ourselves out of that, got neutral,
Yeah.
went into the light, and then realized, oh my God, I'm looping and I'm not here. Like for me, I'd get stuck in higher realms and I couldn't bring it back. So it was like, what is the point? It's like God is like, hey, here you go. Now what, Carlie? Now what? You gonna stay
Right.
here, or are you gonna go back into the experience and see it as a gift instead of trying to distract yourself from it? Like even the
Exactly.
divine, you got to have both.
Oh yeah. It's okay. It's okay. She just came back from upstairs.
Oh, hi
Hi.
baby. Hi baby. Oh, we lost her. Okay, guys, thank you so much for that show. Wow, she really enlightened me and so many others on hypnosis and past life regression. Really, really was a beautiful insight to so many questions that I had about chronic pain and becoming aware of that in the body, and just having that brought to life through a different perspective was absolutely beautiful. So I am going to repost this. This will be available on my Instagram. Elia, we can bring you back on for a minute. We'll have to stop in 10 minutes. So we'll bring her back on and we'll end it out in about 10 minutes. Thank you guys. But yeah, this has been amazing. So much insight, so much information.
Sorry, I was trying to touch and I think I pressed something. It was my fault. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. We have about 10 minutes left
Oh, okay.
anyways.
Okay, good,
So,
good.
but yeah, so much information. And how would people set up a session with you if they wanted to do hypnosis
Yes.
with you?
So normally I just have them send me a message, on any platform that I'm in. Um, Instagram is a big one, I reply. I actually
Mhm.
reply. And so I'll send them my calendar, and I have a free consultation. My consultations are completely free. It's a 30-minute Zoom call, so I still get to see you face to face.
Mhm.
And then we're able to talk about, my method. We're able to talk about, what it is that you need, why what's your pain, right? Basically. And then that way it will give me more of an insight of how I can better, help you and serve you. And so, that's pretty much it, that's it. And then we set up appointments, yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Well,
make it easy.
thank you. Thank
Yes.
you for all that. I mean, we didn't even have to go on to another topic. That that was the topic,
No,
was the
I mean,
past life.
there's so much to talk about, right?
There
But
is.
yes,
Yeah, we'll have to do this again because I feel like there's so much to tap into. I really would love to go into the divine feminine energies with you at some
yes,
point and
yeah,
talk about the significance of that right now.
absolutely.
So we'll have to talk about doing another live.
Yeah,
I really love our connection and how
yeah,
we communicate.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the divine feminine is huge, right?
Hmm.
That's something that it's coming. It's coming through. is needed, and it's almost like it's being released, it's being healed, and it's just like so beautiful.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's Kristen. Oh, thank you, Kristen. You're so sweet.
Yeah, and I could see, and we'll have to do a show on the divine feminine, but I was going to bring up how much divine feminine energy it actually takes to do what it is that you're doing, because it's that nurturing,
Mm,
it's that seeing,
yes,
hearing, knowing them, nurturing, all of that is
yes,
so much divine feminine energy.
absolutely.
Plus, left brain, scientific, like all of that comes into play, and that's where we're merging the two.
Yes. And I think this is why I became a mother again. No, I don't think. I know this is why I became a mother again, because my two older kids are 18 and 16. And I just kind of like forgot about, no, I didn't forget about my children, right? I didn't forget about like being mom, right? She's smiling. Uh, but you forget about all the care and the attention that you have to provide and give to one little human being. There's
Wow.
so much, right? It's
Mhm.
so much that goes into it. And that's another thing that I would love to talk about, this, this process and my own experience that I went through as a single mom, and how much and why I took on the experience of being a single mom in this lifetime,
Wow.
because I needed to understand so that I could connect to all the single mothers out there and understand it at a very, very empathetic level, because I understand your pain. I've
Ooh.
been through that. I've seen it. I get it. I understand exactly why many children are being separated from their moms and why they're doing that they're doing.
Mhm.
There is the pandemic of single mothers and their children, and how they are being targeted. That's the target. The target is single moms and their children.
Yeah.
That is a big, big, big thing. So that's a huge topic right
Yeah.
there, and it's a whole
Oh,
another
yeah.
topic.
We have to bring you on so
Yeah,
you can talk about that. That's going to be
absolutely.
big.
I,
Yeah.
I would love to. And this is why I'm so passionate
Mhm.
about helping moms and children. I became a child advocate because. Give me love. You want your leche? No. Oh, okay. Because of it,
Yeah.
because I've seen it and I got to experience
Yeah.
it, live,
Yeah.
about how we really need to protect our children, no matter who the person is, even if it's the other parent, whatever. I just know. Oops.
Well, yeah.
I just know how important it is
Yeah.
to protect our children.
Yeah.
Like, no matter who it is, we have to protect
I
them.
think it would be important to, like, maybe next week we should do this again if we can find time, because I think it'd be important too for you to express how you're balancing caring for yourself at the same time and still being able to help other people while simultaneously having to give all of your attention to your child.
Yes.
So many women need to hear that balance and
Right.
know what's possible and how to do both.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And honestly, as a single mom, I think you have like a superpower, because
Yeah.
you have no
Yeah.
choice other
Yeah.
than,
Yep.
you just
Yep.
gotta do it.
Yep.
You just gotta do it. You gotta. Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. And you have to have a system. You have to have your support. I mean, if it wasn't for my nanny, honestly, like, I couldn't do my work. I
Right.
couldn't do what I do.
Yeah.
So finding those souls that you connect,
Mhm.
finding your thrive and finding community within your own community, finding people, even if your community is two
Yeah.
people, that's your community, that's your system, that's your support system. I've been connecting with other, like, women here, and I understand why I'm here in this specific area in Mexico. It's one of the most dangerous cities in the world, and I'm here, right?
Yeah.
But I'm seeing the changes of how I'm feeling so much peace, And when I came here, I was like, why am I doing here? Like, why am I in this place? Like, I don't get it.
Wow.
But it took me like I would used to cry almost every single night, to be honest.
Oh.
until I just kind of like, I was like, well, I got to do the best that I can,
Yeah.
being in this place and going going through my emotions and working through my emotions of becoming a single mom,
Mhm.
and the changes that your body you go through, right? And the hormonal imbalance that
Yeah.
you're going through. I mean, it's so many things that you experience as a mom, but as a single mom, I think it takes a completely different level of stress.
Mhm.
And that's something that as moms, like, we need to really work on that. Like it's necessary. Like, your mental health is the most important thing, so that you can provide that safety space for your child, because otherwise your child is not safe around you.
And that's when it comes back to you. Pull it into you. You have to. You can't
Yes. And
give if you have nothing.
right. And I hear horror stories of um, young adults now that they grew up in the system, and their moms were addicts, they're drug addicts and alcoholic and all these things. And I get it now. And I'm like, well, I could see why they became drug addicts. I could see why they became alcoholics,
Yeah.
because they didn't have the support system. The system was actually targeting them, pushing them, almost like, getting them like this, so that their child is placed into the system,
Mhm.
so that they're able to separate the mother and child,
And
because there
have
is
control.
absolutely no help for this mother. And so
Yep.
it gets to the point where this mom feels completely helpless,
Mhm.
completely, absolutely helpless. And so what do you do when you feel completely helpless? Then you start doing, different things like drugs and alcohol
Yeah.
to numb the pain.
Mhm.
That's what most women, like, that, that become single moms, and that you hear those horror stories. Now I get it. Thank goodness that I'm a therapist. Thank goodness that I have all this knowledge, and that I have a support system where I could really just take the time to go into take maybe like a year off, basically, and just work on my healing, work on this progress. And it wasn't easy, it wasn't easy at all. But yeah, I mean, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
But yes.
I mean, that's a whole show.
Oh,
So yeah, we need to do that.
yeah.
So I'll talk to you when we get off of here and see it when we can have you express yourself fully, so that way others feel like they can be seen.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there's so much to uncover from
Mhm.
this. This is when I got into, that's why I became an activist. This is why I got into child trafficking, fighting against child trafficking, because that's what it is. It's just this whole system that turns into basically child trafficking.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely evil. It's horrible, but it's a reality.
Yeah.
And that's something that we need to know about, that,
Right.
so that we can protect ourselves, and so that we can protect our children.
Yep. Awareness is key. Just
Yeah.
being aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
100%.
we'll work on that,
Yeah.
and we should probably get off so we don't lose our lives. This
Yes.
was beautiful, amazing. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
all
Thank
of your
you.
wisdom and your time. And everyone that's on here, thank you so much for engaging and listening to
Yeah.
everything that Elia has to
Thank
say.
you.
And absolutely. And
Thank
we
you, Carlie.
will, thank you. And we'll bring you back on, and we'll really let you express yourself as a single mom, and just bring some light and awareness to people that are feeling this and having to go through so much, and
Yes.
still, bring that attention back to them, taking care of them, and
Hmm.
allowing them to know that it's okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I will talk to you
All
soon.
right.
Thanks, guys. See you
Thanks.
later.
Bye. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.